I do a video on Max Clifford, and you will see how quickly this links into the national fraud involving the government that's been happening for decades against the general public, utilising the taxation system and the unregulated Companies House registration system, as well as forged bank documents. They've been doing it for decades. So therefore, it links through, and you'll see, to paedophilia, sex offences, politicians, fraud, all linked through. It's very serious stuff and all evidentially proven. So let's look at Maxwell Clifford. Hopefully you'll know him. So he was an English publicist and convicted sex offender who was particularly associated with promoting kiss and tell stories in tabloid newspapers. Clifford stated that what motivated him most was much more than just money, and that he could not stand hypocrisy in public life reserved a particular disgust for lying politicians, and he watched with growing anger of what he thought happened to the National Health Service. He felt that the National Health Service was being mismanaged. Absolutely it is. In December 2017, Clifford suffered a heart attack in prison. This is taken from Wikipedia. Bearing in mind there's over 5 million companies registered with Companies House, 66 million people in this country. There's no way this can all link back unless there's truth in all of this and validity to this research, linking it all to fraud. On the 4th of May 2006, Clifford announced his intention to expose politicians who failed to abide by the standards expected of them in public office. And then Clifford died, as we said, in 2017. But this article of The Independent said that he was given the wrongly labelled medication in prison before his death. I understand he was due to attend court in relation to a lot of things prior to his death. And look at his death. Look at his death on Wikipedia. I'm not saying Wikipedia is true, but look at it. Most people believe he was murdered. When you look at this, it's easy to see why that is the case. Maxwell Clifford, let's look at his... So we're now looking, despite whatever you think about Wikipedia and whether that's all false or not, we're now looking at Companies House records in relation to Max Clifford. So Maxwell Clifford, he was linked to 6 companies. The first one is Clifford Field Management Limited. Straight away you can see that City Road was the correspondence address. That crops up frequently in my research. You'll see it throughout all the videos. And what they're doing is they're utilising the same addresses. Bearing in mind there's millions, to avoid accountability for any documentation to be served on them through those addresses. And obviously if they're using fake names or illegal entity companies, it's very difficult to find them accountable for any criminal or civil illegitimate trading. And yet the government has been allowing this for decades. Clifford Field Management Limited, okay, again, this is now looking at their documents. You can see that they were dissolved in 2015. Their original name was Clifford Field Associates Limited. Now, these are the public legal documents. That means they're signed documents. Clifford signed legally incorporation documents. And the first way, straight away, you can see outside of this red box, okay, we'll talk about the red box in a minute. You can see that this company name has been doctored. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, this box here will normally have a line going across it. And you can see that on every other box, they've put the writing within the boxes, okay? All the way through. But this one, although you can't read it very well, which is in itself a problem, they've put the writing right across the middle and over the line. In fact, the line has been deleted or gone past the writing, which means this has been doctored after the incorporate. And this, if it was one of them, I'd be saying, okay, well, yeah, it's just where they've made a mistake, and then it's been. There are so many linked to this fraud where this has happened. Now, it's very likely that Companies House are the ones that have done this altering of this document, because when they originally incorporated back in 2000, Companies House would have seen this document, and if I've noticed that, then they would have, of course, noticed it, and they input the information from this form onto the register. Now, they would have queried that and questioned it. Well, they should have done. Why haven't they? Why has this been allowed to be incorporated with a document like that? And I think Companies House is there. There's lots of other things to suggest it. Companies House are involved in this fraud. I will stick my line out and say they are 100% involved in this fraudulent activity, which means the government is involved. Now, here we go. We've got Waterloo secretaries. Okay, so Waterloo now frequent pops up on these documents, and you'll know that Waterloo, if you watch my other videos, pops up all the time in this research. Waterloo's is also linked through to the Cadwallader University fraud, where in 2022, I believe, it was established that £122 million of public taxpayers' spending money appeared to have been missing. Waterloo's was involved in the incorporation of the company linked to it. And they did an investigation and said, oh no, there's nothing to suggest there's any fraudulent activity. Hold on a minute. What about these forged documents, incorporation documents? Because if they alter a company name on a signed document to hide what company this was originally registered under, it's fraud. It's fraud, and it's all a cover-up. Max Clifford Media Limited. That's because the people involved in investigating it are all involved. You'll see that most, from other videos, most enforcement agencies, police forces are linked through to this. The police crime and commissioners' offices, you name it, they're all linked through this to this National Crime Agency. It's unreal. So we're now looking at the documents. You can see for less than a month, 7th of July, sorry, just over a month, 7th of July, it's just under, I can't think, just under a month. You can see that that company was given that name for less than a month. Okay. Now, the only reason you do that is because you want to shut that company down quickly for some reason. Why wouldn't you keep it trading if it's being done legitimately and there's money coming into that company that is legitimately obtained? Well, you wouldn't. You'd keep it going, wouldn't you? Unless they're trying to hide something. And here we go. You can see again that the document has been doctored. And again, Waterloo's linked to it. Now, let's look at Waterloo's. Now, as soon as you research Waterloo's, it comes up with this company, Vistra. Again, frequently pops up. You can see it had a previous name, so these are the incorporation registered now for Vistra. See, Waterloo Secretaries Limited, it had that name. Now, this company links through to the international transaction system for most banks. It links through to the currency system, the actual company producing the currency system. And let's look at Vistra Limited. That is obviously linked to this. Now, this is definitely an illegal entity company. It should not be trading because it's been incorporated. Okay, it was previously called Jordan's Limited. Now, I know for a full fact that when you link through, and you can look at this, and I suggest you do look at all of this. Don't just take my word for all of this. You can check all of these public records. The incorporation document for this company has a completely different company name. Not these two, not this one like it's shown as. Completely different name on its incorporation document. Of course, Companies House would have seen that incorporation document and should have entered it correctly here onto the register. They haven't done that for a reason, and it can only be to hide fraudulent activity in relation. Now, I would say again, it's a mistake. It's happened too much. It's not a mistake. This is all genuinely been done deliberately for fraudulent reasons, and it's affecting every single one of us. And here you go, just to confirm, Export Manor Freehold Limited is my company. This is the incorporation document for it, and you can see that Jordan's Limited is on the bottom. And this is Swift Incorporation's Limited's incorporation document. You can see that Jordan's and Sons is on the bottom. Let's look at Max Clifford's Associates Limited. So the next company, here we go, Max Clifford's Associates. You can see that they were incorporated in 1990, dissolved in 2020. It was originally called Maximum Media Publicity Limited. This is the incorporation document. I've highlighted this because you'll see that this name is on health service names, and I suspect this is a false name that's been allowed to be used on incorporation documents, which is a crime, by the way. If false details are deliberately being used to cause a loss to others, whether it be taxpayers or whatever, it's a crime, remember. And same incorporation documents, you've got a company called OYEZ. And here's Max Clifford's section that he's completed. Okay, his signature on the bottom there, because it was his company, remember. Now, if you research OYEZ, which is, as we've said on that form there, let's zoom out, losing my way again on this. You've also got, this is absolutely, sorry, no, it's not that bit. There's an essential bit in a minute, but the same name you can see has been used, Sunder. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. Now, it links through OYEZ. If you search that, it comes through to this company. Dissolved December 2023. We'll come to that in a minute. Now, they were incorporated in 1996, you can see here. That's not On the left-hand side, 1996. Now, their original name was LSS Holdings Limited. And they dissolved in December 2023. Now, there's no coincidence. That's 27 years later, isn't it? 27 years later. Bearing in mind, I reported my fraud in September 2022, and they've dissolved in December 2023, as has Swift Incorporation Limited. I suspect they're trying to absolve any responsibility or culpability in relation to this fraud. SLSS Holdings Limited was their original name from April 96 to 97. Here's their incorporation documents. And you can see you've got the same names, Sundar Mansukani. Sundar Mansukani. And you've also got at the bottom of the incorporation of that company all of these companies' names. Okay, so this is where they've listed them as previous or current directorships for people with this company. That now means that all of these companies are linked through to the ability to use this fraudulent system. And all of these you will see pop up all the way through my inquiries. Again, there's over 5 million companies. Please remember that it's impossible for it to be coincidence. Now, attached to that company was this document, which I found quite interesting. And this now shows a link. Well, there's already links through to my company, but there's now another link, so multiple links through to my company and people within my company. So this one mentions a company called Newco. Newco links through to people within my company very quickly. But this is quite interesting because this document says that it's in relation to incorporated for acquisitional purposes. So Newco linked to what was it called, this one again? To Office Team 2. Okay. And this says that it's sensitive for some reason. So this is a solicitor's letter from this solicitor, and then saying, okay, we're grateful if Newco could be incorporated with the requested sensitive name. So for some reason, they're already aware of something that is sensitive in relation to this company, that solicitor is. And remember, solicitors are involved all the way through this. The large, obviously there'll be innocent solicitors, I hope so, but the large solicitor companies are all linked through to this fraudulent system. Maxwell Clifford, next company, Lilypad Properties Limited. Remember, property, real estate is massive in relation to this fraud. It's all the way through it. This is the tip of the iceberg that I'm showing you. If you're looking through these companies, you will see loads of other real estate companies linked to it. And that is because, as I have been defrauded, it is easy to defraud leaseholders in relation to property and real estate, as well as the construction of buildings and stuff like that. It's very easy to make lots of money illegally through that. So this is looking at the incorporation documents for that company, Lilypad Properties Limited. Now it's got a company. Now this is absolutely essential to one of my following videos. ICI Secretaries Limited, but importantly Marriott's. Please remember Marriott's, because it links through to some of the most horrendous information that I ever found in all of this. Marriott's, you can see Marriott's. So you need to look at Marriott. Remember Marriott's companies. So when you research it, we've all heard of Marriott's. I think there's one in Bournemouth. Yeah, there's a Marriott hotel in Bournemouth, where I'm from, where I live, and where this all stems. Marriott Hotels Limited. Got an address of 3 more London Riverside. That crops up a lot. 3 more, you'll see that. And lo and behold, you can see a link through from Marriott's Hotel. Straight away, it links through to Jordan Company Secretary. So we now know that Marriott's is linked to this system of fraud and has the ability to commit this serious fraud. That's just sorry, that box is supposed to be down here. It's where I've moved the document around. Marriott Hotels Limited. And these are just screenshots from Companies House records and then scaled into a document. So you can see Marriott's Hotel's got this person linked to it. Shelley Cato, she may or may not be real, I don't know. Marriott Hotels International Limited is linked through to her. Here's Marriott Hotels International Limited. Oh, actually, sorry, I think there was something. Was there a date that was quite interesting in relation to Marriott Hotels? No. I suppose it's important to recognise that Marriott Hotels Limited was incorporated in 1975, so they've been around for a long time. Okay, Marriott Hotels International. Incorporated in 1982, still active at the time when we putting this together, this document together. Again, you can see Jordan Company Secretaries. Marriott UK Group Company Limited. So what you'll find when you research, even please all do your own research in this, you can look at it yourself. You'll find that most of these companies that have been used to start up the companies we'll know and hear of are illegal entities, which mean most of the companies, I'm not saying Marriott UK Group is, most of the ones would therefore be an illegal entity and should not even be trading. Marriott UK Holdings Company. You can see that Citco is linked through to them. So we're now looking at the incorporation documents for Marriott UK Holding Company Limited. Citco is linked to them. We've also got another company here, Citco, London Limited. You've also got, sorry, I just had to stop the video for a second there. You've got Mary UK Limited linked to these documents now. Oh, I keep scrolling on the wrong bit. Let's go back out. There you go. Let's go back out like that. You can see it a bit more. I know these videos are boring. I'm very sorry. I've got to show you and the government the evidence. So here we go. We've got, when you search Citco, it comes up with Citco Management UK Limited. Again, a management company. Now, they've been given a HACRENPO number. You'll see from the other videos, okay, that quite often is what's happening is they're being given almost an identical name. Bearing in mind, Companies House aren't supposed to allow almost identical names, and yet here we are with just this number gets changed. Then they're linked to Jordan's. You can see it all goes back to Jordan. And you can see on the incorporation document for them, you've also got Linklaters and Paynes. Now this is all evidence that overlinks with the National Health Service research. Linked to Linklaters and Paynes. It's a massive lawyer firm. Let's look at them. Linklaters LLP is a British multinational law firm headquarters in London, England, founded in 1838. The Companies House, remember, was incorporated in 1844. Very important to know. Okay, so incorporated 1838. Companies House started 1844. They're part of the magic circle of law firms known for their corporate and financial expertise. All of this is very easily stopped, providing the government do the right thing. I'm not paying my taxes now because it's being used in crime. There's overwhelming evidence to suggest that. Linklaters was named as having the world's 4th strongest brand at one point, according to that article. Let's look at Linklaters and Paynes. Incorporated in 1980. And they go at Silk Street. Again, there's one that crops up. Now, the incorporation document cannot be viewed. They've removed it, probably to try and avoid implicating anyone else through this, because they know what's coming. Linklaters and Payne has got this person linked to it, Newcomb. He's linked through to, you can see at the top there, his name, linked through to HACRENPO. And look at all these shell companies. There are hundreds of them, all been allowed to be created with just a slight change in the number. Now, this is supposed to be a contentious issue. They shouldn't really be doing it anyway, creating them, because you could easily mistake a 6 for an 8. Okay, and then you've got the wrong company. But yeah, here we go. Companies House has been allowing it. Here we go. Linklaters and Payne. Richard Ashmore is linked to that. They're linked through to a company called Premier Oil E&P. They originally had a name of Eastern 3 Limited. They were incorporated in 1994. Here's their incorporation documents. It's very blurry. There you go. Eastern 3 Limited. Eastern 3 Limited, if it loads up. Now, importantly, at the bottom on those incorporation documents is all of these companies. Okay, that means they're now affiliated with these companies, legally affiliated. They've mentioned them on an incorporation document. So you would have thought, obviously they're putting these company names on an incorporation document on this date. They must all be legitimate incorporation companies, and they must be trading. You can't put a company on there if they're not trading, if they haven't been incorporated. Okay? And here's some more companies. And one of those companies is this one. So National Grid Holdings 1. Now, they had original name, the National Grid Holding PLC, from 1989 to 1995. And you'll find if you look into detail into all these documents, you'll see so many inconsistencies. Well, here they are, National Grid Holdings Public Limited, the National Grid Holding Public Limited Company. Let's just check that. National Public Limited Company. Yeah, there you go. It's the right name. Sometimes you'll find they haven't even got the right name, and that can't be a mistake. I think that's deliberate. Slaughter and May is linked through to it. Now, Slaughter and May, one of their companies, is a non-entity company. I think their main company actually goes through to an incorporation document with a completely different name that has not been registered under them. And they are one of the biggest companies in the world, legal companies, lawyer firms, solicitor firm. When you research Eastern Electricity PLC, it doesn't even exist. Now remember that was on the bottom of the incorporation document, which means that's an illegal document. Now, they're not a legal entity because they put details on there that are false and incorrect, and therefore it's not legal, and therefore they shouldn't be trading. Does that make sense? Any deliberate, illegal or lawful detail put on a form makes that form illegal, and therefore it's not a legal incorporation of a company, and they shouldn't be trading. But yeah, it's been allowed to by Companies House. But there's no trace on a Companies House record for that company, even though it was been named on the bottom. It does bring up these companies though. Okay, but it has to be the same company name. Remember, you can't have the same two names. First of all, you can't have two company names exactly the same trading at the same time. And secondly, you can't have, you have to have the right, exactly the wording has to be exact on a legal document as it does on the register. And Companies House know this, and these companies know this. It's like a registration for certificate of wedding certificate. Can't get my words out. As you know, they check your identity, they check it over, don't they, at the wedding, make sure it's all been written correctly and signed in the right place, because otherwise it's not a legal document. So we're now looking at this incorporation document. Look how many names they've had. My goodness me. So they started off with this name, according to this, Eastern Electricity PLC. Changed all these times. All these times, plus all these times. So this is the following on. Look at this. Almost, I mean, look, that's changed within... So quickly they're changing. Anyway, this is their incorporation document. You can see at the bottom, you've got Slaughter and May again. Okay. On the same incorporation document, Slaughter and May. And then you've got Eastern Electricity Holdings Limited. Okay, let's look at them. Okay, and they all link through, remember, to these previous companies we've been looking at, all coming from Max Clifford. So Max Clifford was very quickly, when you look at this on the scale of things, over 5 million companies registered, and already we're into energy companies and fraud in relation to those energy companies appearing to be happening. Brokerland Limited was their original. Okay, now they are linked to, that company is linked to the Company Registration Agents Limited, so an incorporation company. And this is now the incorporation documents we're looking at for Eastern Electricity Holdings. And you've got a company there on the top that you can see, Lucian James Limited. So that should be a trading company name. If they put it on this incorporation for this company, okay, then it should be a trading name. You've also got the Company Limited. This is the same incorporation documents. You can see they've got the Company Registrations Limited, Registration Agents Limited on it, Lucian James Limited. Now this date was in 2001, this document. I think that's March 2001. So you've got Lucian James. So let's look at the Company Limited comes up, okay? So you search that. Comes up with this. This is the Companies House record search. The Company Limited brings up this one. So looking at one of these here, you can see the Company Limited. Now they were incorporated in 2008. But as we've seen, this document was from 2001. Here it is again. You can see 2001, the company limited. So it cannot be that company because they were incorporated in 2008. So there you go. They were originally called James Courier Company Limited. We're looking at their incorporation documents now. And you can see that they've got Lucian James Limited on them as well. This is Lucian James. This is now 2008. So we've got a document from 2001, a document from 2008 with that company, Lucian James Limited. This is the same incorporation document. See, Lucian James Limited, Company Registrations Agents Limited. So let's look at Lucian James Limited. Now you've got this one that was incorporated in 1991. So we've got these names, but the records aren't correct. You've got Lucian Maureen James, I believe it is, sorry. Maureen James, okay. But on the record that's been entered by Company's House, you've got Lucian Maureen Curtis. There is no Lucian Maureen James. Now, they would have looked at this document. It's not even similar. That can't be a mistake. Along with everything else, it's impossible that these are all mistakes. So you've got companies that don't exist at the time when they're in incorporation. You've got documents haven't been altered. You've got records not reflecting documents. You've got companies that don't exist on incorporation documents. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just scraping the surface on this. It's unreal how many inconsistencies there are, and falsified documents, falsified records, linked to Max Clifford, linked to sex offences, linking to the government itself, linking to national fraud involving the tax system. It's overwhelming evidence. Overwhelming.